Welcome one and all to the ongoing shit show uh, known as the Meade County Detention Center and its proprietor, J.J. Scarborough. What we've covered here so far is, my camera's flicking, that's all right. What we've covered here so far is his ethics problem, uh, including his problem with the physical court, his ethics hearing. It's state audits and the ongoing problem with the audits and the conflict with the fiscal court about the audits. We've covered the ongoing civil rights lawsuit against that is allowed to proceed against 3 members of the jail and the county clerk. So if that wasn't enough, now we're looking at perhaps another significant problem with the Meade County Detention Center, and that's the finance situation with the Meade County Detention Center. Let's look at a graph.
You know, this is a great example of sometimes what we always, we've mentioned this before. A lot of these frauditors, they go in and they try to request all these records and do all these open records requests. But whenever they actually do get them, they don't know what the hell they're looking at. They don't know how to read a budget. They don't know the difference between a revenue and an appropriation. I mean, they line item. You might as well give them like a book on flying saucers. I mean, they have no idea.
Or a job application.
You're exactly right.
To point out here is that none of this has anything specifically to do with the budget. This is not a budget evaluation. This is the actual performance of revenues, expenditures, and deficits in the fiscal year. So this is all the way from 2004 all the way to 2023. Two things to notice here. One is the amount of revenue that was generated or a point created to the detention center. The amount of money, the yellow line is the amount of money that was added during the year to patch up the fund, keep it going. The red line is the overage, deficit, or surplus of money that was left over at the end of the fiscal year. What makes me think that this is a problem is because these last 4 years appear to indicate a trend, and that trend has entered the danger zone. Over $500,000, $500,000 right at it, for the past 2 years each. So this looks like this could be a problem. These amounts came from, they all came from this column right here. This is budget stuff, which is like a rat nest. We don't even want to try to get into that. And then this is a budget evaluation type thing, the variance with the budget. This column is the actual amount: revenue, receipts, revenues, disbursements, the money they paid out, the deficiency. It's 2023, I believe. And then the amount they added in, transferred from another fund, which is that red line, yellow line, that patches up the to keep enough to keep it going, right? So, yeah. I was curious about the revenues jumping up so much, and what was the run across this story from the Meade County Messenger back in this was in 2017, and this was the year that the detention center went out of the red and into the black as far as money for the first time. So this story shows according to jailer, we're spending money wisely and pinching pennies. They stated that there is no single factor that is contributing entirely to the facilities. The housing of state inmates helps. They're given a daily amount for housing the inmates from the state. Right? That facility houses around 180 state inmates daily. That's a lot of inmates. 180. Right? Remember that number, 180 inmates daily. We're real curious about the state inmates that they're housing there. I mean, obviously that's the biggest chunk of money, big chunk of the money that they get reimbursement from for state inmates. So I ran across I got two years with some information on the state inmates in the jails in Kentucky. One is from the Kentucky Auditor website, where they did a data bulletin in 2019 on the local jail populations. Right, it was a PDF file. I copied the tables and pasted them here so I could work with them. The other one I got was from a website called Muckrock. Muckrock, people, you can do a FOIA request, and what happens is when the FOIA request comes back, they take the results of the FOIA request and they put it on the website too, so other people can download it. So somebody did a FOIA request just recently on the populations of the jail in some for the state, for the entire state. This is every jail facility in the state, as does this one. So what I did here was let's go back to 2019. So I kind of made some calculations here. I said, looking at state inmates, how much of the population is state inmates, and then I did the same thing, but I didn't carry over the ones for the individual housing units. I just combined when they have multiple housing units, right? Like here, I just combined the numbers across there, and then carry that number over. Then I was like, okay, what percentage of the state inmates is at the jail in whatever housing unit all together? And that gives you these numbers here. So then I went and looked at this, and I'm like, wow. So I want to look at every facility, right? Every jail that has is over 75% of their population or state inmates. So I selected those out, and then what I did was I calculated what is their percentage of the number of beds that they have, right, is being used by their total population, not just state, their total population. Like if you got this one, for example, you have 271 beds, but you got 320 inmates. That means you're using 118% of your capacity. You're over capacity, right? So then I selected those out, the ones that were over 75%, and maybe some others, to look at. All right, so anyway, so it goes down, and I look at these. These are all with greater than 75%, or these are ones with greater 21%. This one's only 15. But and then one thing popped out at me was when I got down to county. So Meade County is at, this was in 2019. This was at the peak of the time when they had the most money coming back from the state, apparently, for housing state inmates. Meade County Detention Center as a whole, right, combining both housing units, both populations or whatever total, right, was at 142% capacity. It means there were 42% capacity over 100%, right? Which turns out to be the highest in the entire state of Kentucky, right, by far. And I noticed, well, this is like normally where they keep the county, the state people, I think. So I don't know. But that one was within capacity. They had 80 beds and 79 people. So they're at 98% capacity. But the regular jail was 93 beds and 167 inmates for 93 beds, which put them at 180% over capacity for that one housing unit. That was absolutely way beyond. So that actually watered, this actual one that was okay, actually watered down the numbers and made it seem like overall like it's less, but this was bad. So the most overcrowded jail in the state inmates, 191 state inmates out of a population of 246, which would leave what, 946, 55 non-state and 191 state. And they were the most overcrowded jail in the state of Kentucky. This one had 80% that were state, but they were only 117 over capacity. This was in 2019. This is where they're making money, right? Making a lot of money. Jail to make money, packing them in there like sardines to make money. And then we go to 2024, right? This has different categories, so we can't really separate out the state inmates. I can't. I wouldn't risk doing that because they have Class D inmates, but I'm not sure all of those are state or if all the states would be included in there. They don't really have a breakout for state. They do have federal, but not state. So that I can see by understanding it. So let's roll down to, this is December of last year. Let's roll down to Meade County. Okay, Meade County. So let's just look at the total number of people, right, being used. That's about all we can do with this. 93 beds, 83 inmates. They're under capacity, in that unit, housing unit. This one, which may be where they keep the state ones, 80 beds, only 17 inmates. So they are way below capacity here. Way below capacity here. So this might be part of the problem. The budget's going haywire because they don't have a lot of state inmates. That's 2024. So I'm really curious now, which really makes you want to consider, next year when the budget comes out, this year for 2020, 2024, 2023, 2024, to see, what it looks like. It's interesting. Well, that's interesting. So that being as it is, I just want to make it clear that on the calculated spreadsheet that I showed you, that the over capacity shown, the percentage is only for those who have greater than 75% state of their inmates as state inmates. If you're below 75% state inmates and you're over capacity, I didn't show it because what I was looking for was, are you over capacity because you're recruiting state inmates for money, not because maybe you just don't, your jail's not big enough for your regular clientele, but you're actually out there getting state inmates for money and overpopulating, and that being like the cause of overpopulating your jail. That's just want to make that clear. So anyway, we're going to be following this. This is interesting. There, just wait this out. More information becomes available. I'm really curious about this budget thing. I'm not an accountant, so I can't really look at the budget stuff. All I can look at and evaluate is just look at the actual numbers that happened, right? The way the budget was executed. So anyway, I hope this was interesting. It's interesting to me. It's a lot of work, but I'll put some links in the description so that you can download everything that I showed you, so you can do it yourself if you want to. Maybe you have some insights, information you can, let me know. I'm curious about it. This is interesting. Anyway, have a good day.